Welcome to my presentation on cybersecurity. So what is cybercrime? Cybercrime is when a hacker tries to commit fraud or misuse a computer online. And why is cybercrime vital to your company? Your company does loads of work online through the cloud, and because of this, your data is vulnerable to being attacked. So first I'll be going over common types of attacks from the past, present and future. So in the past we have malware. Malware is a specific type of software designed to harm a computer. It's made up of viruses. A virus replicates its code and carries a payload which carries out tasks on the device, which include worms and Trojan horses. Worms do things like delete files, open backdoors for botnets, and they can also self-replicate. A Trojan horse pretends to be a legitimate file with malicious code embedded into it. Present day. So a common in the present day is ransomware, where a computer is hijacked with malicious software that encrypts the computer in exchange for money. And a way that a lot of ransomware and viruses get spread is through phishing. Phishing is a social engineering attack. They'll often use tactics like Trojan horse tactics, where they have files that appear as legitimate. And they'll extract the information from you or download a virus onto your computer. So the future, social engineering attacks. So the definitions of social engineering attacks are psychological manipulation that trick users into giving away sensitive information, as we can see here through someone getting an email from Amazon saying, getting an email from someone pretending to be Google, which is clearly fake. So next is deep fakes. So deep fakes use sophisticated computer technology to impersonate other people on video. This can also extend into voice. So they could even be used to trick your company into supplying money or details. In Sample's 2021 Guardian article explains that the chief of a UK subsidiary of a German energy firm paid nearly 200,000 into a Hungarian bank account after being phoned by a fraudster who mimicked the German CEO's voice. So now some case studies from the National Cybersecurity Centre. So increased UK company attacks due to COVID. Workers are being tricked through social engineering that they are being contacted by legitimate company members, causing viruses to be downloaded and even ransomware. Phishing and ransomware attacks have been greatly increased, as it's been hard for managers to keep an eye on their employees accidentally clicking on malicious links. So that's something you should bear in mind. Educate your employees on how to stay safe and what is legitimate and what is illegitimate. So next we have vaccine research and development attacks. So APT29, known as Cozy Bear, has attacked various COVID-19 vaccine development organisations, including the United Kingdom. So they spread their malware through spear phishing and attacking organisations with emails containing malicious zips and files, also using decoy content like training and internship forms. So if your logistics company deals with confidential goods, it's paramount of the members of your logistics company are trained to identify threats like decoy content, malicious files, and phishing attempts. So lastly, we have an Instagram account hack. So hackers demanding ransom after tricking the organizer into handing over Instagram account details. So the hackers pretend to be legitimate, asking the account owner to appeal on a link of closing the beauty pageant. Upon doing this, they asked for a number and access code, which she handed over. They then locked the account to demand payment. However, the account holder of the Miss England beauty pageant did regain control of her account. This is a security issue. If you have an online marketing team, potentially they're at risk of getting hacked. So you should never hand over your passwords, and you should always have two-factor authentication on. So threats to a company's management information system use a translogger system that operates over the cloud, so data can be accessed from any location. The cloud is where information and resources are stored. There are a few different cloud models, such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and different cloud models have different levels of accessibility, which in turn affects the security of the whole system. This is something your company needs to be aware of. So common threats to your to cloud-based computing systems. Always on computing. In the past, when your computer is off, it was off, but now cloud-based systems are synced through multiple devices, so data can be attacked through servers. This means you'll need to stay up to date with the vulnerabilities of your cloud computing service. Ransomware attacks could still happen, which would result in a lot of your stored data being lost. Organizations should have systems for backing up data, and it should be stored on different systems and locations, meaning that if one system's compromised, you still have backups. So here are 5 important threats to your cloud-based management information system. So misconfigured application. So your logistics company may use infrastructure as a service for your management information system. The configuration is down to the company, but if it's misconfigured, it could leave you open to security breaches. Examples of infrastructure as a service misconfigurations are the Capital One breach, where thousands of customer details were lost due to misconfigured open source web application firewall. To avoid unwanted scenarios, consult your cloud vendor and seek assurances that everything has been set up correctly. So another common one is weak passwords. So to log into various parts of your company's management information system, you'll use passwords. Generally, weak passwords can be an issue for cloud-based systems, as once the attacker has login details through cracking tactics, they can access the full cloud-based system and compose as a legitimate user. So you don't want any common passwords like the ones behind me. You want to use a formula called password entropy, which is character space to the power of password length. Length is key. You can create a passphrase to increase length and make it original. You can add in extra steps to increase complexity. Two-factor authentication should also be used. It's another way of authenticating a user, i.e. a password or a fingerprint or a text message, for example. Next we have employee training. So lack of awareness of security breaches and how they can happen are a major issue. Therefore, correct employee training around security and keeping users and the company safe is important. There are many social engineering tactics hackers use, like phishing, which can be prevented with training on email safety, and knowing when an outsider is pretending to be someone that works in the company, making sure passwords are safe as mentioned above. It's important to educate employees on cybersecurity and the implications and consequences of breaches. So another common problem is compromised partners. So if partnering company's API is compromised, this could leak into your logistics company operation system and cause a security breach. A real-world example is the Eternal Blue ransomware bug discovered by the NSA, which would spread across systems, taking advantage of APIs. To prevent these kind of attacks, you should instruct developers to make sure your API functioning is limited, and you must make sure third parties connected to your internal systems follow robust security procedures. So finally is move fast and break things. In the pursuit of creating a better and more efficient product, as directors you'll be pushing for continual innovation to improve your product and service. However, it's important for your developers to consider security risks just as equally, and that your system's security procedures are robust. As a logistics company, you're dealing with very sensitive information. Any changes to the cloud-based management system should adhere to security protocols. So most important UK cybersecurity laws. So we've got four main. As directors of your logistics company, it's important to be aware of cybersecurity laws and how you can implement them to protect both your staff and your company's reputation. So first, the Data Protection Act. So companies and institutions used to keep most of their data in paper form, but in 1998, due to increased use of computers, the Data Protection Act had to be updated. So personal data collected by your UK logistics company must adhere to these 8 principles. So what does this mean for your company? Customers can change and remove data they do not want stored. Employee data must be kept safe. Employee data cannot be removed like customer data is often needed for legally for work. Businesses must take steps in responding to violations as well as preventing them to create a standard for data storage. Which we'll be going over later. And Computer Misuse Act. The Computer Misuse Act was a legislation to stop hacking. It was created due to a man hacking into Pretzel, which is a basic text-based computer system developed in the late 1970s that gave people a taste of our online information services. The man by chance discovered the login details. Robert Schifrin was the first man to be charged with illegally hacking, but was acquitted due to there being no laws at the time, which is why it was created. So how does the Computer Misuse Act impact businesses? It's geared towards individuals and has no real definitions for businesses. This is why you as directors must do the utmost to keep the security and data of your company safe. So GDPR and DPA. So GDPR is a set of data protection rules which enhance how people can access information about them and place limits on what organisations can do with them. So GDPR covers a broad range of rules, however these are the key ones. Lawfulness, fairness and transparency. Make sure data practices are lawful and nothing is hidden from the subjects of the data. Purpose limitation. Only collect data for a specific purpose and only for the length of time needed, no longer. Purpose limitation, data minimalization. Only process necessary data, no more than needed. Data should be kept accurate and up to date. Only keep data for as long as needed. Data must be processed in a way that has appropriate security. So right of consent. Consent must be freely given and the individual has the right to withdraw and to be forgotten. If the customer has requested to be removed from the system and one of your salespeople calls them again, this is a breach of their rights. The customer should be able to request a copy of their personal data and be able to change or remove it. If a customer wants to leave your logistics company, make the process difficult for them. Again, this is could be a breach of the right of consent. So there are three main roles to keep data safe. To ensure the protection of data, the data controller is responsible for how the data is processed and its purpose. The data processor is an individual that processes data for the data controller. The data protection officer monitors GDPR compliance and acts as a point of contact for authorities. All these three roles make sure that GDPR is followed and reduces GDPR issues for businesses. So the right of consent and cookies. Your logistics company may use cookies to keep track of customer information and users on your website. These are very useful as you can track data. In 2018, companies made changes to be compliant with GDPR. So they had to declare their analytical trackers and they had to be clear with what data was gathered. However, privacy policies were hugely long. So GDPR attempted to make these readable for the everyday user. So you must always ask permission to the users of your website if you want to track their data with third-party cookies. Failure to ask permission with a correct and readable privacy policy could be seen as a breach of privacy. So what does GDPR mean in summary for your company? You must adhere to minimum standards of GDPR as all businesses are held to account for this. A data controller and processor are legally responsible for processing data even if the processor is a third party. Failure to comply could mean a large 4% turnover fine. So finally, international standards. international standards for cybersecurity and the impact the accreditation process can have on your company and its employees. Why is it good to have the international accreditation of cybersecurity? This proves to your customers and your logistics company that their data is safe with you. There are three main standards: ISO 27001 and 27002, COBIT 5 and BS 25999. So what is the International Organization for Standardization? It creates standards on how a company should operate. To adhere to this, the company will create a management system. A management system is how a company manages the interrelated parts of a business. So first, ISO 27001. This demonstrates to shareholders that security is taken seriously. It sets out an information management system standard which shows how a company protects their data and their systems. It outlines controls that you're going to use, which is pivotal for companies like yours dealing with a huge amount of data. It provides a framework to establish, implement, monitor, review and maintain and continually improve your information security management system. It helps comply with laws like GDPR. So ISO 27002, it's the code of conduct. 27001 provides the outline. 27002 provides the guidance and best practice on how to implement the controls. It provides more detail and explains how the control works, what the objective is, and how the control can be implemented. So COBIT 5. So COBIT 5 is based around based around 5 key principles to manage and govern an IT framework. Here are some examples. So logistics is about, here are some examples of how it can help your company. Logistics is about delivering parcels in the safest and most efficient way possible. So you need to be continually improving on your systems to make this happen. COBIT can help with this. So here's some examples of problems: insufficient IT organization and outdated IT systems, and limited attention towards risk management. Not many implementations for backups. In this case, the systems organization are insufficient to meet the stakeholder needs. Directors and managers need to turn their stakeholder needs into a clear strategy, giving it to the IT team to the exact areas they need to improve on. In this case, it's a risk management plan and improved IT frameworks. Your logistics company, another example is your logistics company fails audits from potential partners due to downtime and unreliable IT systems. To fix this, a logistics company should use COBIT to audit their systems, meaning they're better prepared to pass audits with new clients. So benefits of COBIT for your business: it provides an excellent IT framework to achieve objectives and improve and develop better frameworks, creating value for your customers. So logistics companies like yours rely on very well designed and efficient IT systems to see that packages are tracked and delivered on time. COBIT's five main principles can help with this. Finally, BS 2599. This is the British Standards Institute. This was the British Standards Institute. It was a standard for businesses and disaster recovery that showed that a business could recover in the situation of a cyber attack or mass loss or destruction of business data. However, it was replaced with ISO 22301 and 22313. So overall costs and benefits of a management system: financial costs, you've got hiring consultants in specific standards or systems of management. You have new hardware costs. You've got time costs because staff need to be trained, taken away from duties. Some staff will need to be retrained in new management systems and processes. You have new projects, which mean you can't focus on other ones. Some sales may be temporarily lost as you adhere to new standards and the adherence process. Process may take more lengths to achieve full compliance. Benefits: over time, operations will run more smoothly and you will adhere to regulations. It's best for long-term results. It will give guidelines of procedures and how you can implement new procedures. It means data is better protected. It ensures greater trust in the company as it will be accredited, meaning it's more attractive to potential investors. Overall, today we covered basic aspects of cybersecurity that will give you the background knowledge you need to be aware of the changes you need to make to your logistics operation in order to be safe in cyberspace.